गणपति शारदा गुरुभ्यो नमः चरितं रघुनाथस्य शतकोटिप्रविस्तरम् एकैकमक्षरं पुंसां महापातकनाशनम्. Welcome to all for this session on Sri Rama Charitha Manasa. In the previous part, we saw on one side Girija getting ready with all her severe austerity to hold the hands of Shiva in marriage, whereas on the other side, even Shiva too had tested her devotion through the seven sages. And while both were getting ready, Shiva is still deep in his trance state, undisturbed, and there is a dire necessity to disturb his senses so that he could look at Girija and proceed forward to marry her. Because it is only the union between Shiva and Parvati which will bring out Kumaraswamy into this world, and it is only Kumaraswamy or the Skanda who is capable of killing the Tarakasura for which the whole world is waiting. The gods then told him all their distress, hearing their tale, the god of love, because in order to disturb the serenity of Shiva, they invoked the god of love, and they told him about their distress. And hearing their tale, the god of love pondered and spoke thus with a smile. I expect no good results for myself from hostility to Shambhu, because who can face Shambhu while he is deep in his trance state? However, I shall do your work, for the Vedas say benevolence is the highest virtue. The saints ever praise him who lays down his life in the service of others. So saying, the God of love bowed his head to all and departed with his associates, the bow of flowers in hand. While leaving, Rao thought within himself that hostility to Shiva would mean sure death to him. He then exhibited his power and brought the whole world under his sway. When the god of love, who bears a fish for his emblem, betrayed his anger, all the barriers imposed by the Vedas were swept away in a moment. A whole army of Viveka, that is, discriminating knowledge, continence, religious vows, self restraint of many kinds, fortitude, pity, spiritual wisdom, and the knowledge of qualified divinity, both with form and without form, morality, uttering of prayers, yoga, the contemplative union with God, dispassion, and so on, all of them fled in panic. Viveka took to flight with his associates. His eight warriors turned their back on the field of battle. They all went and hid themselves in mountain caves in the form of sacred books at that time. There was commotion in the world, and everybody said, my goodness, what is going to happen? What power will save us? Who is that superhuman being with two heads to conquer whom the Lord of Rati, that is Kamadeva, the Lord of Love, has lifted his bow and arrows in rage? Whatever creatures existed in the world, whether animate or inanimate, and bearing masculine or feminine appellations, transgressed their natural bounds and were completely possessed by lust. The minds of all were seized with lust. The boughs of trees bent low at the sight of creepers. Rivers in spade rushed to meet the ocean. Lakes and ponds united in love with one another. Where such was reported to be the case with inanimate creation, who can relate the doings of sentient beings? Beasts that walk on land and birds traversing the air, the water and water lost all sense of time and became victims of lust. The whole world was blinded with passion and agitated. The Chakravaka birds regarded neither day nor night. Gods, demons, human beings, kinnaras, serpents, evil spirits, fiends, ghosts, and vampires have refrained from dwelling on the condition of these, knowing them to be eternal slaves of passion. Even Siddhas, the spiritual adepts, great sages who had no attraction for the world, and even yogis or mystics gave up their yoga, which is contemplative union with the God, under the influence of lust as the god of love rises in order to disturb Shiva. Even great yogis and ascetics were completely possessed by lust, to say nothing of low minded people, those who till lately looked upon the animate and inanimate creation as full of Brahma, now saw it as full of the fair sex. Women perceived the whole world as full of men, while the latter beheld it as full of women. For nearly an hour, this wonderful game of love lasted in the universe. Nobody could remain self possessed. The hearts of all were stolen by the God of love. They alone could hold their own against him, to whom the hero of Raghu's race extended his protection. The wonder lasted for an hour or so till the God of love reached Shambhu. Cupid and trembled at the sight of Shiva. The whole world returned to itself. All living beings regained their peace of mind at once, even as the intoxicated feel relieved when their spell of drunkenness is over. The god of love was struck with terror at the sight of Bhagavan Rudra or Shiva, who is so difficult to conquer and so hard to comprehend. He felt shy in retreating and was incapable of doing anything. Ultimately, he resolved upon death and devised a plan. He forthwith manifested the lovely spring season, the king of all seasons. Rows of young trees laden with flowers appeared so charming. Woods and groves, wells and ponds, and all the quarters of heaven assumed the most delightful aspect. Everywhere nature overflowed with love, as it were. The sight aroused passion even in dead souls. Passion was aroused even in dead souls, and the beauty of the forest beggared description. Cool, gentle, and fragrant breeze fanned the fire of passion as a faithful companion. Rows of lotuses blossomed in lakes, and swarms of charming bees hummed on them. Swans, cuckoos, and parrots uttered their sweet notes, while celestial damsels sang and danced. The god of love, with his army of followers, exhausted all his numberless stratagems. Shiva's unbroken trance, however, could not be disturbed. This made Cupid angry. Seeing a beautiful bough of mango tree, the god of love climbed up to it in a mood of frustration. He joined his 5 arrows to his bow of flowers, and casting an angry look, drew the string home to his very ears. He discharged the 5 sharp arrows, which smote the breast of Shiva. The trance was now broken, and Shambhu awoke. The Lord's mind was much agitated. Opening his eyes, he looked all around. When he saw Cupid hiding behind mango leaves, he flew into a rage. which made all the three spheres tremble. Shiva then uncovered his third eye the moment he looked at the god of love with his third eye. The latter was reduced to ashes. The loud wail went up through the universe. The gods were alarmed while the demons were gratified. The thought of the loss of sense delights made the voluptuary sad, while the striving yogis were relieved of a thorn, as it were. And thus Shiva, on seeing Kama in action to disturb his senses, immediately he burnt him into the ashes. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Swamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.
श्री रामचंद्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणं श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाल भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणं श्रीराम 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 श्रीराम